Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm Ed Juenka, and I'm here with Desiree Smith, artist. And I had an opportunity to look at some of her work, and you'll see some in a few minutes. Very, very interesting pieces, and she's going to explain some of them to us because I can't understand them. but they certainly look interesting. Welcome to Spotlight. Good to see you.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, I see you all the time.
Yes,
up and
yes,
down in
yeah.
your Jeep.
Yeah, that's me.
I see it. And I think I saw you one time at GIS.
Yes, that's where I work actually. That's my day job.
That's your day job.
Yeah,
And this is your love.
this is my passion, yeah.
Yes, yes. And I was wondering, what you did, but now I know that you're an artist and quite a good one.
Thank you.
When did you become an artist? When did you realize that that's something that you wanted to do?
It's been my most long-standing memory actually. My first memory and my earliest memory. And my most profound memory is that of lying in the floor drawing right here in Tortola when I was a little girl. I remember nothing else before I moved to St. Thomas where I grew up, but just lying in the floor drawing and discovering wonderful, interesting little synchronicities with my art. So yeah, it was always known to me.
That was what, 3 years old, 2 years old?
It had to be about 3 years
3 years
old
old.
because I wasn't in school then. Yeah.
So that was something was always on your mind.
Always.
And you grew up and graduated from high school and went to college and studied art?
Yes, I did. I studied visual communication with the advice of all my art teachers growing up. They figured it was a bit of a difficulty being a fine artist, as it's termed sometimes, painting and illustrating. So they said, if you're going to go and study art, study visual communication. It's something that is a lot more easy to get work. So that's what I did. I studied visual communications with a concentration in graphic design.
Okay. Didn't your parents say to you, art is, how you gonna make money from that? Did you get encouragement or discouragement? I know many young people who are in the arts, whether it's theater, fine arts, or drama or dance. Parents sort of want them to be in something that's going to make money.
Yes, but growing up predominantly with my mother, I was very fortunate because she was very nurturing of my creativity. When she would take me shopping and ask me what I wanted to buy to wear, she allowed me to have a lot of freedom and liberal expression in my artistic mannerisms. So it was always something, and even at home, I was the one that drew the artwork for my sister's projects. So it was something that always lent itself to being encouraged in my family, and they knew it kept me focused and entertained. So no, she never discouraged me. Once I was able to get a scholarship to go to college and study art, it seemed a logical assumption, especially since I was doing commercial art and not just studying fine art. The ease of possibly getting a job, which it was, turned out fine for me.
So that was easy because you could use the commercial art, your commercial art talent to work while you do the thing that you love.
Absolutely.
That's a good plan, and I think persons listening, watching the program who perhaps have those same challenges would learn that you could, fulfill your dream by using your talents to do different things that you could make money from.
Absolutely.
So that was a good idea. Now you've shown your work where and what places?
I had the opportunity initially to send my work to the BVI London office, and I think it was 2011 for the first time. And I sent 3 pieces. I was fortunate to liaise with the local artist community who has this opportunity, and I was able to send 3 pieces, and I sold 2 of the first instance. The second year that we participated, I sent a grander piece. We were asked to work on what was termed a masterpiece. So that was sent. I hope it got good appeal, but it's still there. It hasn't been sold yet. It was a very personal expression. So that's 2 years in a row that I was featured as one of the artists at the London office. And it was amazing because it was during the time of the Olympics initially. So there was a lot of people from around the world.
coming through.
Yeah. So that was an amazing opportunity.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's great. So you show your art in the community.
Well, I have now, as of August 29th, when 2014 rolled around, I realized that my art was increasing and increasing in me. So I wanted to make an expression to the community. So I decided I wanted to have an art show. And I determined that August would be a good time. So I prepped and I planned and I worked, and I had an art show almost 2 weeks ago now at Bambouche Lounge. And I understand it was a success. There was quite a number of people that came out and showed their appreciation, and I want to thank them very much.
Okay, cool. Because our shows are things that we don't go to here. I mean, I don't see people out to art shows, and and I don't hear about many art shows. To
Me
go in.
neither.
Perhaps it's something that we need to start going around looking at art and having art in our homes and so on. Even the artists that we've had, like Joseph Hodge and Ruben Vanderpool and others.
My colleagues, yes.
Quito, and I mean a whole host of talented artists in the BPI. It seems like their work is well, not dying out, but I don't see the proliferation of that work in the community.
Well, I can't speak directly to that. Some I know a bit, I'm familiar with a bit more than others, but I do know that the journey of an artist is very organic, and some of us may be developing new things in our art at the time and waiting for the opportunity to express. So what I would say is that you can look out over the next maybe year or so and see what comes from the different artists, because I'm sure something is coming.
Okay. And do you paint a lot? Do you produce a lot of work? How is your time spent regarding your art?
Well, because I was working towards a goal of having the show, it was constant. It was a constant, every day, all weekend process, and it felt good because it gave me a considerable amount of focus. Now that the show is over, I have the desire to be working constantly. So I have.
So you got into the mood, you got into the feeling.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and it feels good. So I want to maintain that momentum. Actually.
I want us to go take a look at some of your work.
Okay.
Let's see. You have two pieces on the
talk
table.
about these? Yeah.
Let's see those, and I want to get. Now this is quite interesting. Yeah, you could hold. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. You could look over there so you could see how it's showing on television. But yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's always a challenge to figure out which way to go.
Yeah.
Now, what is this? And your style is pop art.
It's called pop art. My style.
And what that means?
Pop art is a reference to what's generally considered a part of popular culture. Certain people, music, brands, language, anything that is iconic about a particular culture. And if you take those things and you interpret them visually and maybe repurpose them, take them out of their normal context and add color and vibrancy, and you have pop art.
So what this represents?
This is actually a theory. This is an idea,
Okay.
a concept of the creative process, how the human experiences life, really. So what you're looking at is what could be a visual representation of the mind. And so we're talking here about, let me put it down,
Okay.
the rays that are jutting from the seeming enlarged head are the five senses.
Okay.
Yeah, we know what those are. And once those five senses are picked up, they're being picked up by the conscious mind. And the conscious mind is where we reason and dialogue and determine whether things make sense to us or whether they don't. And if we determine that it makes sense, we filter it into our subconscious mind, which is our emotional mind, and that's the heart. But it's really
And
where,
so we love it.
yeah, pretty much. So
Or hate it.
not generally. The idea is that it's loved.
So
in
once
that
it gets to that level, it's love.
it's love.
Okay.
Because it's not a rational mind, it's the emotional mind. So that's actually where our activities come from. That's the generative part of us. So even though we might be rationalizing on the conscious mind with a different dialogue, sometimes we act differently and we wonder, well, why do I do contrary to what I often feel is right or wrong? It's because the programming of our subconscious mind. And so this is where the largeness of the mind area is dominant to the body, because the body is just the vehicle of the mind.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
so this is the body down here.
Yeah, and it's smaller because of its secondary nature to the activity of the mind.
Yeah. The mind is on top. The head is on top.
Yeah.
Cool. That's interesting. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Now you have this other piece here, which is I couldn't recognize it at first.
I don't see how people can recognize this.
I
This
couldn't
is I
recognize
think
it
I
at
got
first.
it spot on.
I think so. But this is a pop representation of the premiere.
The premiere of the Virgin Islands, the
The
current premiere
current
of the
premiere of the
Virgin
Virgin
Islands.
Islands.
And I call it the premiere.
And that's the title.
Yes.
Okay.
So, what's great about the art that I do and that I enjoy doing? Of course, I use different mediums. This medium in particular was the computer, because as a graphic artist, I use a lot of computer modalities such as Adobe Illustrator, which is what I used to digitally render an image of the premiere. I think it's pretty close.
Yeah, well,
And-
no, I'm looking at it. And it looks younger.
Well, I made him very, very appealing. I didn't.
But it's bordering on cartoonish, right? I mean,
You could say that.
That's what
I choose not to call it a caricature because it's not. I don't intend it to be humorous or a distortion, but certainly it's not realistic. Because
Okay.
if you want a realistic picture, you can take and see a picture of the premiere anywhere in the media.
Okay.
But I wanted to address him because in popular culture and pop art as well, it's often that we take on most iconic figures and address them. And I think it's a way to venerate certain people.
You have him looking kind of intense.
Pretty intense. Well, he's often smiling, and we can't say that we don't see the premiere not smiling, but the image that I referenced, he wasn't smiling.
Okay.
And I thought that was perfectly fine as well.
That's cool. It's interesting. I mean, the work
Interesting?
is I kind of I'm liking it.
Good.
I'm getting into it.
Yeah.
Let me see what you have on the
Okay.
in the mixer. But the once you get to understand it, and a lot of art is subject to interpretation.
Right.
But it's important for the artist to give their perspective on what they were the goal they're trying to achieve through their art.
Right.
Do you accompany descriptions with your art, or you just allow people to just come away with what they want to come away with?
I tend to not give elaborate descriptions. I give the idea of the genesis of the idea of why I chose to work in a certain medium, why I chose to address a certain topic. And the obvious output is what came of me as a result, but I don't tend to give so much detail that the person feels restricted in their interpretation.
Okay. You just said, this one here on the screen now, tell us a little bit about that. Look, from what I'm looking at here, I'm not seeing it well.
You're not seeing it well?
No.
Okay, well, what it is, it's called,
Okay, that's a little bit better.
Yeah, that's called Magna Carta, and it's based on the album Jay-Z, the artist, the musical artist, his most recent album of the same title. So throughout that piece, it's referencing some of the song titles, it's referencing some of the lyrics, and I made reference to some of those because they're the most popular songs, the most popular lyrics, but they also had their most impact on me. So I felt very strongly about some of the things he was discussing in the album, and it motivated me to create what I think is the magnum opus of my show that I just had. It's about 3 by 4 feet. The largest piece, and with this most detail and thought.
What you think is the what of your show?
The magnum opus, the
Okay,
quintess.
that's a new word for me. That's a new word for me. And go ahead, you were going to explain it.
Yeah. So it's it's really a lot of lessons throughout the lyrics, and I'm sure people are familiar with the album. But again, it was a lot about the lyrics and where they took me personally, and some of the lessons I thought that he was talking about that really resonated with me, that made me have such a reaction, and I wanted to express it in the way that I did.
Okay. Any we got any? Okay.
Yeah.
This is who?
Does she look vaguely familiar at all, or nothing about her?
I can't play. I can't play. So I can't play.
You don't want to play, so we don't want to offend. But that's me. That's my pop culture and pop art reference to myself, my
Okay.
portrait. So I call that the artist.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Now, okay. Now your face, your face there. Well, your nose. I think sort of throws me off.
Really?
I think your nose is pointier in person than it is
Oh,
there.
okay.
And I don't know, is that part of the art that you sort of use it to describe the subject, but not give it away immediately?
Not be as literal.
Yes.
That's the thing. I really don't think when you approach art from a reinterpretive level that you should be. I don't like realism. That's why
Okay.
I veered off and attempted to give an emotion more than
You should have some kind of feeling towards it.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
because with every piece there's this feeling that I bring to it, or else why am I doing
How's
it?
it art then?
Yeah. So that's more so I concentrate on certain things that make sure that if you stay with it long enough, you'll pick up certain things about, for me, my eyebrow, or the shape of my eyes, or the dark circles that I often have around my eyes. And so I know those characteristics about myself.
Okay.
And so when I bring them, or if I was to do you, which these types of pieces could be commissioned. If an individual wanted to have a commissioned digital illustration of themselves, they can have that. There would be things that I would need to know, or very iconic things that would be representative of yourself.
Specific to the individual.
And you don't have to pick everything, just one or two little things that
You want to
speak
stand
to,
out.
yeah.
Yeah. So when you got another show coming up anytime soon?
Not soon, not this year, but
Okay.
Certainly.
If somebody
there
want to
will be.
get some of your work, to hang in their house or to purchase, to give it a gift, how can they get in contact with you?
I guess by email, my email address, or I'm on Instagram as well, and Facebook. I'm very heavily into social media.
You want to give that out?
Sure. My email address is Desiree Smith, DESIREE 1170 @gmail.com. My Instagram address is InsideOut_DS, and Facebook is just Desiree Smith. So it's very easy to find me.
That's great. Well, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Really enjoyed it.
It's been a real pleasure for me, and I enjoy your work, and
Thank you.
I'm hoping to come out and have drinks, have wine, and crackers, and
And cheese.
and fruit.
We know, we're on the same page. Very good. Very good.
And look at some art, and perhaps purchase some and hang
That
in
would
my
be
house.
awesome. That would be
so
awesome.
we're looking forward to that. Thanks for
All
coming
right.
by.
Thank you, sir.
It was a real
Appreciate
pleasure.
it.
And all the best.
Thank you.
Yes, we're going to take a break, but from our sponsor, we come back. We're coming back with two of the microphone messengers, April Glasgow and Shawande Uhuru. We're going to be talking about the upcoming Poetry Slam and the microphone messengers that's coming up. And we're going to hear a little poetry, and it's going to be hot. So keep it locked right at the spotlight. We'll be right back after these words from our sponsors.
Spotlight is brought to you by Tortola Concrete Limited and H. Lavity Stout Community College.